Welcome to another episode of TalkYOSpitTV. I'm your host, Mario Harris, and today starts the Tennessee Titans Week 1 game versus the Denver Broncos. This is the recap review of the game. Unfortunately, yes, we did lose the game, but it was some positives in there, but I think the negatives that we had kind of outweighed the positives that we had. Um, so let's go ahead and get into it. Rookie Cam Ward, he comes in today as a starting quarterback, number 1 pick versus a very tough defense with the Denver Broncos. And as expected, he has some rookie mistakes. But at the same time, while his struggles did happen, at the same time he was seen very poised and very confident in that pocket like Cam Ward usually does, man. But like I said, he did have some rookie mistake. He went 12 for 29, 112 yards, and a QB rating of 54.5, which is not good at all. But hey, a lot of it wasn't also his fault either. But the biggest thing I want to point out is, well, not necessarily not having no touchdown passes. The biggest thing I want to point out is him trying to stay in the pocket. And that has a lot to do with the offensive line. The offensive line basically gave up. I'm not gonna say gave up on him, but the offensive line broke down a lot on him. He was sacked 6 times. With one of those sacks, he fumbled at the end of the game, basically. But he still was a fumble, and then the other sack came on at the 12-yard line when they was about to score. So the offensive line did not do him any justice at all. The offensive line, for the most part, was horrible. Let's say that they was horrible today against a good defense. I mean, Broncos has a great defensive team. They, if I'm not mistaken, they are ranked in the top 10. Actually, I did. Fox Sports and NFL.com, now I think about it, they did rank them in the top 10 coming into the season. So, they already on paper have a very, very good defense. However, the the flip side of that is the Broncos didn't send the blitz. I mean, they sent the blitz a lot. I mean, they sent the blitz quite a few times, but it wasn't a lot. They were just rushing the regular 4-man rush, and the offensive line still broke down. So that's something to look at for future games, for this week's practices for the Titans. They need to find a way to get their offensive line better. We do have a couple injuries on that offensive line, but it's still no excuse, honestly. I mean, I think we only have one starter that's injured, and the other one is a backup player injured. So there's still no to me. There's no excuse for the offensive line as a whole to break down like that and give up 6 sacks, but also to make your rookie quarterback in his first game of the season to make him run out the pocket as much as he did. But at the same time, Cam Ward needs to learn how to roll out better in the pocket, well, out the pocket. A lot of times his rollouts were very sharp and not wide where he can get away from the edge rusher. He actually kind of rolled into a lot of the edge rushers and other defensive players that were rushing. So Cam Ward needs to do a better job at moving out the pocket. And once he get out the pocket and making plays, he showed a couple plays. I mean, he showed a couple times that he can make plays on the run, which is very, very promising for a player like him, for a quarterback player like him. That is very, very promising. So I mean, like I said, yeah, he had some good showing, but for him making the mistakes that he had wasn't bad mistakes. It wasn't like he was throwing a lot of bad ball where he got a lot of turnovers. It wasn't like he was just running for his life because he just didn't want to stay in the pocket necessarily. So if the offensive line would have stayed grounded a lot, would have helped him a lot. That would have done a lot better for him. But unfortunately, offensive line was just very, very, very horrible today. So it had him run out the pocket a lot of time. Then the offense as a whole, they just really wasn't very consistent. Tony Pollard, he did pretty solid. He had 18 carries for 60 yards. However, he didn't have any big run. I think his longest yard run was like 9 yards. He didn't have any big run. He got stopped a lot. He also fumbled the ball at one time while we were driving down the field. We was actually on their side of the field, looking to score almost, and he ended up fumbling the ball. But the biggest thing I want to say about the offense is Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver one. Calvin Ridley, he did not show up as much as he did. Out of 4 catches that he had, he was targeted 8 times, so that means he dropped 4 passes too. And about 3 of those passes that he dropped were catchable balls. Like my boy, you gotta catch those. Those catches would have changed a lot, a lot. That would have changed a lot for the Titans and that momentum that they was trying to have going into the. I mean, you were trying to have at that time of the game. So he has to catch those passes and he has to make those catches for get a first down. Because those, I think, if I'm not mistaken, all three of the passes that I'm thinking about that were catchable passes would have resulted in a first down. But we needed that. We needed him to catch those passes. We needed him to help out Cam Ward big time. But it just didn't seem like Cam and the rest of the receivers a lot of times were in sync. As you've seen, Cam, he was showing them after he threw the incomplete pass, telling them you're supposed to cut, you're supposed to keep running, whatever it is, stop right here, whatever it was. Just seemed like they wasn't in sync a lot of time. I did like Elick Io Mayer. I think I hope I'm saying his name right. Elick Io Mayer. He the rookie. He was pretty solid. 2 catches he had were pretty nice on there. He seemed like he's gonna be an X factor in future games. So I'm liking what he see. He made one big catch in the third that was ruled incomplete. But if you look at the second time, if you look at it again, you seen that his elbow was in. So he caught the ball and they said he was out of bounds. But if you look at it again, you seen that his elbow was still in before he got out of bounds. And that was actually on Coach Brian Callahan for not throwing that challenge flag out there. You're supposed to throw that challenge flag out there. Nowadays, they got people on the sideline, coaches on the sideline looking at that to see if you should throw that challenge flag out there. And he just ultimately decided not to throw that challenge flag. And then after the game, when he got asked about why he didn't throw that challenge flag, he basically said because he didn't. Elick Io Maynor did not have 2 feet in the game. I mean, 2 feet in the inbound. However, NFL rule states that if a player is catching the ball and he has to, if he gets pushed out of bounds while he catches it, and he somehow one part of his body somehow stays in bounds, then that is deemed a catch. So you don't necessarily have to have both feet in, even though yes, you do most times have to have both feet in. But if you are falling out of bounds, getting pushed out of bounds while you're catching the ball, and your elbow, arm, leg, knee, hip stays in bounds before you get out of bounds, and you catch the ball already before you get out of bounds, you're not juggling the ball or anything, then that's a catch. I think it's the only thing that a rule is not a catch is if your hand hits it, because I guess your hand can basically make your momentum go back, not out of bounds, which kind of makes sense. However, Brian Callahan, he should have thrown that challenge flag. And if he that's a mental mistake from Coach Callahan, because he is the head coach. You have to know, you as the head coach have to know the playbook, have to know the rule book of the NFL. And him not throwing that challenge flag was a very, very big mistake on him. And that could have been a huge momentum swing for the Titans. But also, right before the half, Titans on their own 7 yard line. He calls this right here is so questionable to me. On the Titans on 7 yard line, so we have to go the length of the field, but it's right before the half. I think it was like 45 seconds left to go. He decides that we had 3 plays. He decides to do a play action and throw a pass where it ends in 2 incomplete passes, and the next one was, if I'm not mistaken, a almost a sack. It was a sack. No, I'm tripping. Yeah. So the next one is he had 3 passes, 3 passing play. 2 of them was play action and go for it, and 2 incompletes and a sack. So in that situation, you want to run the ball. You want to run the ball to allow the clock to keep moving, because we was up 6-3, if I'm not mistaken. We was up. We was up though, at least. Yeah, we was up 6-3, and you want to run the ball to keep that clock going, so we can go into the half with the lead. So when you throw an incomplete pass, that allows the time clock to stop, And then Denver had timeout, so you want them to use their timeout. That's why you let the clock keep running. Me personally, first of all, I'm not doing no play action in that situation at all. You that a play action allows the defense to see what's going on, allows the defense to stop what you got going. Once they seen the play action coming, they was already blitzing, so they were already coming for the quarterback and Cam Ward, and that's why he had to throw them quick passes real quickly because he didn't have time to see where his receivers was at, and it came an incomplete pass. So in that situation, you want to run the ball and let the time go out. That was just bad play calling by Coach Callahan right there to end the half. And then ultimately once the Broncos got the ball back, still in the first half with a few seconds left, the defense had a penalty, and then they got down the field and then threw a touchdown pass. So now we going into the halftime down. So that right there is the reason why you run the ball, or at least do a quick slant route. At least that first time she did a quick slant route since you're that close to the end zone. Don't want to get a safety. Do a quick slant route real quick. Boom. Now you run the ball in there. Either way, go run the ball. That's where I'm getting at. Run the ball, dude. Like, what are you doing? So, but anyway, Titans as a whole, the offense just did not look in sync at all. Titans had only 7 first downs the whole game, and then they were 2 for 14 on third down the whole game. So we just did not look in sync at all, man. So that was it's a lot of things that we got to work on offense. Once again, we do have a rookie quarterback. That was his first game of the season. So like I said, I expected him to make some mistake. However, the offensive line, we have to do better on that offensive line. You just got to do better on the offensive line, especially when they only rushing 4 and you have 5 offensive linemen. Come on now. You have to do better on that. Um, and then, like I said, Calvin Ridley got to catch those balls, man. Calvin, you gotta help Cam Ward out better than that. You wide receiver one, you have to help Cam Ward out on that one. Then go on to the defensive side of the ball, man. I really don't have too much bad things to say about the defense, man. Star defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, he showed that he was a beast like always. He got to the quarterback as many times as he should have, but he sacked the quarterback 3 times. No, he sacked the quarterback 1 time and had 4 tackles, excuse me, in all. And then Tavondre Sweat, of course, he did the same thing too. He got to the quarterback too. I think he had about 3 tackles too. So the defensive line right there was great. But the secondary, man, they couldn't play any much. Well, they could have. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But besides what I'm finna say before, besides the negative, what I was gonna say, the positive side of the secondary, they played great. The secondary played great. And all they had 4 turnovers, and they had 2 interceptions and two fumbles. The secondary was great. Xavier Woods and Roger McCreary, the ones who got two interceptions on that. And I coming into the game, that was my biggest concern. Was actually my 2 biggest concern was offensive line and the secondary. And the secondary, I was just really, really surprised at how great they played. They showed that they can play great against top receivers like Cortland Sutton, even though he did have a touchdown, but he had a touchdown when Snead was at the game. So we had our backup cornerback on him and not our main cornerback on him. So the secondary, besides that, they played great. They did what they were supposed to do, for the most part. Now on the negative side of the thing, we had too many we had too many penalties, too many penalties. From the defense as a whole, we had too many penalties. Whether it was personal foul penalties, PI penalties, whatever it was, we had too many penalties. In all, I think we had 13 penalties in all the team and all. So we just got to clean that up. But then the rushing attack, Broncos had for 30 carries, they had 151 yards and 1 touchdown. We have to get better at the rushing defense on that, man. We cannot allow teams to run over on this because for one, this is a passing league. This is a passing league. So if teams see they can run on you, especially with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers that they have nowadays, if teams see they can run on you, then that opens up the passing yards completely, tremendously. So we have to clean that up too. We have to get better at tackling when teams start running. We have to get better at noticing the run beforehand, calling the plays out, so we won't get ran over. And for the most part, Broncos had two rushers for the most part, and like I said, they combined for 151 yards, one touchdown. So we failed big time on rushing. Then we failed to capitalize on some big plays. Bo Nix, like I said, him the quarterback for Denver, him and Cortland Sutton, they converted on a 22-yard touchdown before the half that put them up in the league before the half. That hurt big time. And then when in the fourth quarter, when the Broncos was up, they were up one. They ended up scoring on a run play. That was the one run touchdown that they had. So we have on big plays on big possession, on big down plays, we have to stop them. I mean, and then we did like on third down for the defense. They was Broncos was 6 for 15 on third down. So I mean, we stopped them more on third down than they converted. However, they converted on third down more than we converted on third down. So that's kind of testament on both offense and defense, on offense and defense right there. However, I will say this: on fourth down, there was Broncos was 0-2 on fourth down. So we on fourth down we did play good, which that one of those fourth down was towards the end of the game that allowed us to get the ball back with about it was under 3 minutes. I think it was before the 2 minute warning. So we did play good on fourth down. So I do like to see that. So that was very good. But as a whole, we have to stop we have to stop the run and we have to stop the big plays as a whole. They Broncos also had 20 first down to our 7 first down. You see what I'm saying? So we have to stop big plays. We have to stop the run too if we want to show that we have an elite defense. Which, like I said, the defense for the most part, I give the defense for the most part a B plus. We played pretty good for them, but I'll say just a regular B. I wouldn't say a B plus. No, I'll say B plus. It was 4 turnovers. Yeah, I'll say B plus. We played good for the most part, but on defense. So, you know, it's just something we just got to clean up. And if we would have cleaned those things up, if we would have did the right thing, we still probably would have had the lead and probably still would have won. Um, Even if with the offense just didn't do. We didn't score a single touchdown on offense. Every score we had was field goal, and I hate that. We Titans. I feel like in the last 3 seasons, including this season, including today's game, I feel like we have the most kick field goals. I don't know why. I should have looked that up, but I don't know why. Because it just seemed like we just get down the field and we can't score. Well, we can't score a touchdown. Let's say that we get down the field, we can't score a touchdown. We have to settle for a field goal, man. So it's just something that we have to figure out what we got to do. For one, catch the ball, and two, run the ball better. So that's just what it is. But what really hurt the Titans on both sides of the ball was they penalty. Like I said, the penalties once again hurt the Titans. Last year in 2020 and 2024, Titans was second in most penalties, and Jets was number one, and Jets only had five more than us. So if we was that close for being number one, you know what I mean? And that's not good. Having a number one most penalty, that is not good. You're not gonna win a lot of ball games, just like we didn't win today. You're not gonna win a lot of ball games like that. You have to you have to be better mentally during the game and in game decision to know what to do. Um, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. He had the most today, committing three of those. He had a face mag and two PI penalties that cost us big yards. And all, like I said, in all we had 13 penalties, and they cost us 131 yards in all on both sides of the ball. Our total offense was only 133 yards. Like, we got to do better at that. We have to do better at being more mentally prepared in game so we won't have these penalties. These penalties hurt big time. We can't win ball games having all these penalties. It just you're not gonna win games like that. That's why we only won 3 games last season. That's not the main reason why, but that's why we only won 3 games last season. All these penalties, we couldn't convert. How many? I wonder. I really should look this up too. I wonder how many times we either scored. got a first down, made a big play, and stopped somebody else on there getting the first down, and had to come back because we had a penalty. Cost us a lot of games, like it cost us today. We have to we have to stop that. We have to clean those up, man. Anyway, overall, the Titans, like I said, they played pretty good, played great defensively. To a team with a great defense. Excuse me. Overall, the Titans played good against a great defensive team. Just the penalties kind of hurt us big time. Like I said, the Broncos coming in, NFL.com, FoxSports.com, they had them ranked as one of the top 10 defenses in the team. However, Titan, the offensive line, man, the offensive line just got to get better, man. Even like I can kind of understand when the blitz is coming because they usually send in about 6 players when the blitz coming. I can understand that. But when they only send in 4 players and you still let 2 players get through, you have to block better. You just got to block better. You got to help my boy Cam out in that pocket. Don't allow him. He's a rookie. So a lot of things are coming a lot faster for him than they usually are. So you got to help him slow the game down. You have to help him slow the game down. Like I said, he didn't look too bad in the pocket. He still looked confident. Still looked poised a lot in that pocket. But when the offensive line break down like that, you want. I think the average time is like 2 seconds, something like that. So you got 2 seconds to figure out where I'm gonna go when the offensive line break down like that. It may be quicker than 2 seconds. It might be 1.5. So you have to help my boy help him slow the game down so he can see where he wants to go with the ball, or if he needs to run out the pocket and do something with his leg. So offensive line, you got to help my boy out on that, man. But like I said, I do believe Cam will get better. Well, I didn't say that, but I do believe Cam will get better as each game go by. He watches film, as we all know. He stays in the film room. He understands his mistakes and what he needs to do. So I do believe my boy will get better and he will learn from that. And at least my boy is very confident. Once he was in that pocket, he made some great passes. That some of them did connect with. But Ridley, you gotta catch these catchable passes, man. And I understand one of them was like close to his hip down here, kind of behind him, but he get paid millions to catch though. I understand one of them was a little high up there, but he gets paid millions to catch those. Those are catchable passes. Like in baseball, if it touch your glove, you can catch it. So if it touch your hands, you can catch it. Especially if it touch the mid part and up in your hand. Now I can kind of understand if it touch the tip of your hand a little bit. Maybe, but a lot of those was right there in his hands, and he has to catch. You got to catch those, my boy. You have to catch those, really. Those are catchable passes. Defense, they did keep us in the game for the most part. Besides the penalties here and there. They have, like I said, they had 4 turnovers, third down conversion. We stopped them 9 times out of 15, but those 6 times that they got through, they at a 6 times they got through. 4 of those 6 times they converted a first down on those third down conversions. And then we did stop them on fourth down conversion. Like I said, they were 0-2 on fourth down. So that was pretty good. But once again, I can't stress enough those penalties hurt big time. We gave up too many yards on penalties that allowed them to get in scoring position, allowed them to either kick a field goal or probably score. So we have to clean those up. Those are mental plays, man. But also the big next thing is the coaching. Coaching, you have to get better at play calling. You have to understand the rule book of the game, coach. Like we needed that challenge flag out there that would have overturned that incomplete pass that allowed us to get that first down. We would have been driving. We could have scored on that possession. We need that. We need that. Then you just need to get better at play call. I understand he's also after the game. Brian Callahan said he on that before the half play he wanted to be more aggressive. I get that. I understand that, but this is your rookie quarterback you're talking to. You're talking about this is your rookie quarterback at his first game. We're talking about. I understand. I like the fact that you want to be aggressive. I do like that because Lord knows I hate conservative offense. but at times is at times like that, it's best to be conservative. It is. It's best to be conservative. Man, we need just to run that ball, run that timeout, and let us go into the half with the lead because we didn't get the ball. Yeah, we didn't have the ball at halftime. So we needed to have that lead going into halftime. But instead, we went into halftime down. And that momentum was down. Even though we got the ball back and shout out to Shamir Dyke, man, on that kickoff return. He did a big run on the kickoff turn that allowed us to get in field goal range and allowed us to kick a field goal. And I think it ended up being 10-9. Yeah, it ended up score being 10-9 going into halftime instead of 10-6 going into halftime. But still, I can't stress this enough. Play calling has to be better at that, man. It just has to be better at that, man. Allow that run to happen. Allow Denver to call them timeouts, and so we can go into the half with the lead on that. You know, these mental mistakes and in game decisions definitely caused us to lose this game. It caused us to miss the opportunity to give Denver an upset at home to start the season out. So if that would have happened, if those would have happened, if we wouldn't have those mental mistakes and if we wouldn't have held those in game decisions that we had, we probably would have won. I would have started off this season with 0-1. I mean, 1-0 instead of 0-1, and Cam Ward can have more confidence going into next week's game, which is at home against Los Angeles Rams, who has a pretty good offense. So it's just one of them things that you just gotta learn from. Gotta chalk it up and we'll learn from it and we'll just get better. So, but anyway, that was my quick review of today's game, week one game of the Titans versus Broncos, man. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you if you have. Please like, comment, share the video, please. Any Titan fans, if I missed anything about the game that happened, please comment and let me know. Let's talk about it. If you have ideas that maybe the Titans can do, let's talk about it, man. I like to talk about football, I like to talk about sports all day long. Please just let me know. Comment on this video, please. But until then, I'll see y'all next time. This was Talk Your Spit TV. I'm Mario Harris. Thank you.